Hello, Malton. It's me, Zombie GG, bringing you my latest ZGG Fireside Chat. I have for you tonight the second part of my March 2023 conversation with one of my most feared frenemies, an absolute terror of a player whose insights and actions have been the harbinger of fear and destruction to pro survivor psychologies and safe havens for the majority of my career in this city. I speak of none other than the deadly PenguinPyro from the Flowers of Decay player killer group. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. Pretty hardcore engineered tactics going on, trying to fight zombies, always calculate what's going on at Nicole's Mall, Blackmore Building, Tynt Mall up in Pimbank, and then Woodruff Mall down, and, just all these calculations and thoughts and moving things around, and then all of a sudden a PK group shows up, and it's like, oh my gosh, okay guys, we all gotta go to dark buildings again.
Yeah, let me tell you, it is a compliment if a PK group shows up while you are defending against a siege. It means one of two things. First of all, they are confident enough in your abilities that they know that you'll last long enough for their arrival to be worth it. Second of all, they are confident enough that you can keep the infrastructure up so that, because PKs need infrastructure too. So they're confident that you can keep the infrastructure well enough for them to restock. But it is a compliment, because if a garbage group fighting against zombies would fold instantly, right? And PKs know that, so what's the point of showing up? Show up is because the survivors can afford it.
Yeah, so Death Cultist and PKers, what are some similarities? I'm trying to think of a Venn diagram. Like, do they both do the over barricading?
PKs don't really do over barricading, I don't believe. I have actually recommended the FOD use over barricading as a last ditch defense. Like, you can go to a entry point and hide there, over barricade and hide there for a day if you're almost out of AD, for instance. It's not the best you can do, but the fact that it hurts survivors is secondary to the fact that it's mostly there, so you have a secure hiding place. I would say the Venn diagram is pretty much attack survivors. And I guess PKers are not averse to pinataing buildings if they're not dumped.
Just for the audience, because pinatas are kind of rare, that is when a building is barricaded but ruined, so you can't free run into it from the outside, right?
It wasn't that rare for me because I spent a lot of time doing those. A lot of time doing those. not just with the cleaning crew, but and occasionally the FOD, but also I think the Philosoph Knights actually. I was in them briefly.
Oh, I forgot about the.
I was a Philosoph Knight. We did that. We didn't death cult often, but at one point we decided, you know what, the virtual arms, we cannot accept anybody being in there and wasting their time with role playing. So we just pinated the shit out of it over and over. I mean, I was a good PKer, but I wasn't the type to go after specific people over and over. As a PKer, I was always on opportunist, so I guess if you hit sloppily, then I would get you. But if you hid in dark buildings, I wouldn't ever bother to deal with you. Although my compatriots in FOD, some of them would actually go after specific people who tick them off enough. So it depends on the PKer.
I just pulled up the Philosophy Knights wiki page. Those guys were terrifying.
They are terrifying. Oh yeah, I sweated bullets during the recruitment process. They will smoke you if you don't give the answers they want.
Here we go. The Philosophy Knights are a secretive group of scholars recognized by their habit of sporting plain white masks. Their objective is to exterminate all ignorant and uneducated survivors of the Malton outbreak. They see the current chaos as a perfect time to complete their task. The Philosophy Knights are the oldest surviving group of PKers in the city. Did you ever play Zombie, out of curiosity?
Oh yeah, I played a zombie a lot actually. Although I got pretty bored of it. I was in the Scourge.
Ooh, Stellar's group, or Rotting Rita.
Although we just knew her as Mama.
Mama.
Because of the zombie speech, right? So it's Mama and there's Baba.
The Scourge ruined every single building in Malton at least once. Is that right?
Yes. Although I didn't stick with them long enough to see that happen, but they did, yes. And
the Scourge, what was that? They went to Pitney Bank and they broke into a Necrotech building, and in mid-raid, Everyone got combat revived.
I wasn't there for that, but they told me about that too.
Yeah, that's
That's
one of the
hilarious.
most epic things I've ever heard.
I have a story from the Scourge to top that though.
Ooh, let's go.
So all the groups in Jaegerton hold a annual outdoor picnic.
Oh yeah, I've
And
seen one of
so,
those.
yeah, so they hold this picnic and they do a lot of RPing and reviving, and it's a good time, and sometimes some zombies join in. They join in the fun. So we hit Egerton shortly before they did this, and as we left, they held the picnic, and they actually facetiously invited us to it as we were leaving. Um, and there was a lot of them in one spot, and we knew that if we came in one by one, it wouldn't be very effective to survive each other. So what we actually did is we actually saved up AP, about 5 blocks away from this, where no one could see us, and then all at once during our regular strike times, we showed up and we wiped out the entire picnic, all in one strike. Just got everybody,
Wow.
and it attracted a crapload of ferals in the process. And the thing is that almost everybody in the suburb was in that picnic. It was outdoors, and that's in that one square. So it took weeks for them to recover. Revive points jammed with no one to revive because everybody was dead.
Wow. The entire infrastructure in one strike gone.
Not. I mean, the infrastructure was fine. The people to repair the infrastructure were all dead. So, so that's what happens when you lose the vast majority of a suburb to zombie attack. We got told to back it for weeks.
That's hilarious. You did resurface a terrifying memory of the Scourge. Being director of the Rockford Coordination Center for a bit there, I really prided myself on being a scout type player, just running around constantly checking on Necronet reports and trying to track the bad news before it just surprise attacked us. And the Scourge was excellent at avoiding radar detection.
Yeah.
I still don't fully understand how that works.
They have a lot of routers actually, so those are hard to scan.
Yeah.
And also, when we do move, we make big jumps. We don't just trickle in. The Scourge has daily strikes, right? And often we only move during those daily strikes. So we'll hop 5 or 10 squares if we have to.
So you use movement as a strike. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That's very clever.
Or we assemble out of the area as we're gathering AP, and then during the strike we actually use it on a target. But yeah, lots of movement, lots of routers. It's a secret.
What was some of the big survivor clashes that you remember with the Scourge?
I don't remember a whole lot. I remember we dealt with the Rangers, and of course the Jaegerton Revive Clinic.
Anything up in the Kyger Mall area in your experience? Was that the Soldiers of Crossman around there?
I don't think I've ever. I've been in the Soldiers of Crossman. I don't think I've ever fought them.
Oh, you were part of Soldiers of Crossman for a bit?
I was in a lot of groups. I was in the Soldiers of Crossman for a couple years.
That's cool. Yeah, they one thing about Soldiers of Crossman that always blew my mind was how much they love just being knee deep in shit, excuse my French, but they they love harassing the dead, poking the bear over there in that part of the map.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason I joined them is because playing against the dead feels like griefing because they cry so much. Right?
The dead do?
It's like the best of both worlds, right? You get all the complexity of being a press survivor, and you get to grief people.
I've avoided the dead as much as I can too, just because a little terrified of them. I don't want to pop up on their radar.
They do a lot of game breaking. So.
Yeah, I don't. Do you think they really zerg? That's the rumor. Or is that just survivors crying because they are losing?
They have a tool that allows you to upload multiple alts and actually keep those alts separate, but tagged as they dead. So that's basically alt abuse. But they are coordinating intel between different alts. So.
Okay, I always just wondered, because I hate being that person who cries zerg just because someone else is thwarting my master plans or something,
No, the dead pretty much zerg. They have lots of accounts that live in Z suburb name, right? Z Pitney Bank or Z Galbraith Hills. Maybe the majority don't zerg, but some of them will make thousands of.
There's one time that I actually thought zerging was super funny. I have my zombie characters, human GG, and do you know California Yeti down there, that pro survivor?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen when California Yeti just did the big huge Yeti zerg thing?
That was him? I thought that was a lot of random people.
Oh, was it?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I just saw one time a bunch of these Yeti characters all spawn. It was just like ridiculous. I assumed they all had different states. There was like California Yeti,
Yeah.
Massachusetts Yeti. They're all named after a state. So there's like 50 of them.
Oh yeah, the FOD had a Yeti hunt actually, and we actually had a campaign prize. Whoever killed the most Yetis within the month would get a picture made of them.
Oh, jeez.
It was funny, and the FOD got a big kick out of killing them. Let me look it up. Let me send you the link. Um, so that is one of our members. His name is a photographer, but his avatar is Pee Wee Herman. So, and we said like, if you make enough Yeti pelts, we will make you a picture of you wearing Yeti pelts. So here we have Pee Wee Herman, his avatar, wearing Yeti pelts.
Nice. 2013 April.
I'm sure you're familiar with the Rodwood Elite.
Yep, that was fun. Benigno, him and I just coming up with so many different survivor strategies for Roftwood. In like the pro survivor group, Roftwood Elite, we decided to make a zombie group just to try to think like our enemies, see what their experience is like.
I was there with the Rodwood Elite. I was on Discord. I was Rose Red, Ross Reed.
Oh, I remember you. Yeah. I am
It was
sorry.
all
I
on
did
Rose
not
Red.
pay a whole lot of attention to Rotwood Elite. I kind of just
Yeah.
logged in as human GG and smashed barricades mostly. What style did you play? Were you Death Cultist, you were saying?
Yeah, as Rose Red. Yes.
People get like real mad, I remember about that. It's
Yeah.
not like abuse in the game. There's no rule against it, right? It's just
No. I mean, there's nothing stopping survivors from doing the opposite, right? Having a zombie wandering around telling them where the zombies are going, where the feeding calls are going.
damn, dude. I did not even think of that.
That's a real strategy. That's Albert Schwann of ZALP, ZALP, like Zombies for Life something. They were life cultists, and they would do that.
Life Cultist. What? This is
It's
what
totally,
the
it's a
heck?
totally legit strategy. Yeah. There's a lot of things that a zombie player can do to help survivors, actually. You can claw other zombies down to like low health so the survivor can give the finishing blow and headshot and a dump, right? You can make
Oh, I have done that before
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, that's life culting. You can also follow the feeding grounds and and report on the zombie concentrations.
That is something I've never thought about, following the feeding grounds.
It's a real thing. It's yeah, you have to be outdoors though, but yeah, you totally can.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Let me think here. What or who's one of your favorite friends you've ever made in Urban Dead?
Well, I've got a lot of them. I think Clayton Carmine. Also as Bobbert Fireman Domo, RRF. He's mostly known as Clayton Carmine. He was fun to be around.
He has a pretty cool story. I'm pretty sure if memory serves correctly, they started playing the game defending this weird thing that I still haven't visited yet. Some kind of like emergency building?
The Quorum building. That's the one with the emergency broadcast system. Basically, at one point, Kevin updated the game with a. So you know how there's military frequencies, right? That can only be broadcasted on from the fort. The forts have two unique frequencies, right? He added a third one that can only be done from another building, and he hid it. And I think like after 48 hours, someone found it. It was in the Coram building in was it Lucanswood? I forgot. It's one of those suburbs that no one cares about.
Yeah, you're dead on the money. It's right there in Lucanswood.
That puts up that suburb on the map basically because it's the only source of that particular frequency.
That always like stuck in my head, and Clayton Carmine
Yeah.
just like discovered that and thought it
Yeah.
was really neat and just kind of
Yeah.
like made a thing about protecting it for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. In Carmine, there's Hate Crime, who you mentioned. There's Albert Schwann, who is a very. He's the one who came up with a lot of the life culting tactics. At least his group did. He was also part of the Wolves. Um, and I believe, and he also joined the FOD, and that's where I know him from.
Albert
So he,
Schwann.
yeah, he had some hilarious kill speeches. He like talked about Derrida, the French philosopher Derrida, and like signifier is not the signified, and like made a whole boss off night style lecture before shooting someone. It was fantastic. One of the best kill speeches I've seen.
That's awesome. Do you guys like have these like on your like Flowers of Decay Discord? Is there like a channel just dedicated to?
Yeah, okay, they're counting scalps. We call them scalps.
Oh, that's right. I've definitely been scalped
Yeah,
a bunch of times. Um, Did you ever play with? Didn't the Scourge have like a pro survivor alias kind of the East Becktown Defenders?
They had many of the same members, but it wasn't directly linked. And I've not joined them, but I have fought them as the cleaning crew, and they gave us the rare compliment of saying like, "You nearly broke us."
Damn.
There were 5 of us. There were like 15 of them. We nearly broke them. So that's where we're getting. That's 3 to 1, like I said. Right? We
I
had
had
one guy
big respect for
surviving.
East Becktown Defenders. They're
Yeah,
same thing with Soldiers of Crossman, just right on the front line of like the dead
yeah.
frontier.
Oh yes, yes.
Just
Yeah, we had. Yeah, the way we messaged them is actually really instructive of what difficulty can do. We had one guy PKing, one guy pinating, that was me, one guy GKing, one guy overcading and doing a bunch of other stuff, and one guy reviving all of us. So 5 people. And the thing is that they like spread themselves so thin trying to counter all of them at once because we're messing with them in so many different ways.
to me, the GKing is the most heart wrenching.
I have actually, had a death cult group that just focused almost entirely on GKing, just yelling at, the machine lords are evil, they're polluting their mind. Yeah. you know, we didn't attack anybody. We didn't attack any survivors, but they got so mad at the GKing, so upset.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I definitely, like I don't care about getting killed that much. Whatever, just go stand and revive point. Someone will jab me. But the GKing is like super painful, especially sometimes like Malton seems to go through those like stretches where fuel just like isn't a thing. I guess. Like
Yeah.
we've
Too
made
much
Excel
effort.
sheets in the RCC, like everyone just committing to like this like Google sheet document where it's just like how much AP you spent in what building searching for like fuel, and like it was abysmal. It's like, Kevin, did the game break? Like what happened here? Why aren't there fuel cans in the city
Uh,
for like 3 weeks?
have you heard of Rando, the random number goddess?
Oh yeah, RNGesus.
No, no, Rando, the Urban Dead incarnation of RNGesus.
Not particularly. Do enlighten me, please.
You can look up Rando. That's a thing that I started. I just started. We're gonna call the RNG Rando. We're gonna say she's a capricious goddess who requires blood.
The random number goddess is a deity which, according to her followers, oversees the metaphysical fabric of the universe governing random event chains. She is the goddess of fortuity, spontaneity, and chaos. In the consideration of Urban Dead, she is thought to govern the random number generator. A part of her living within the Urban Dead servers is a kind of deus ex machina. Rando is revered by the RNG cultist
So
group.
that's the thing that I came up with, and people just ran with it, and I loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna start calling it Rando now. Yeah, I like Rando. Urban Dead's very own, like, personal RNGesus deity.
I loved hearing people who have never met before, praise or curse out Rando for screwing them.
Your
Like,
ideology is spread beyond your, like,
yeah,
personal influence.
but yeah, King is devastating if it was done well.
Yeah, so heartbreaking. It's one of those things I've never got over. Got over getting killed, got over barricading, but GKing is just, it's so tough. It's just like I spend days sometimes just trying to find a fuel can, and then I spend days just trying to find a generator, and then someone blows it up in like 3 AP. No, not really 3 AP, but
10 AP on average.
savage. Welcome back, Malton. This concludes the second part of my March 2023 conversation with one of my most feared frenemies, PenguinPyro, most infamously from the Flowers of Decay player-killer group. Stay tuned for the final wrap-up of this chat, coming soon. The ZGG Fireside Chat is a post-apocalyptic production proudly presented to you by me, ZombieGG, and my guest, PenguinPyro. Thanks for listening, Malton, and as always, the pleasure's been mine.